We're here at Saumarez travelling stock route, right beside the New England Highway. It's a windy day and there's trucks roaring past, but we're going to start planting this site. The reason we're planting along here is going to be a bit of a wind break for the stock that are in the travelling stock route here beside us, and would have been nice if it was planted a bit earlier so we got that shelter from the wind. I'm going to show you 4 basic planting tools and the different advantages of each one and how we use them to plant seedlings. We've got here a beautifully prepared site. This site's been prepared by deep ripping. The pasture was sprayed out and allowed to die. It was deep ripped with a tractor. Then it was mounded with a number of offset discs, and then it's been rotary hoed. So it's very soft, it's full of moisture, absolutely perfect for planting into, and ideal for all of these tools. So we're going to be planting these seedlings, which are grown in these Hyco trays. Hyco trays are root pruning, and they train the roots so that they don't spiral around. They're perfect for trees and shrubs, and these are the ones we're going to be planting today. The first tool we're going to use, something everybody would have. This is just your standard old garden trowel, and what we do is we just scrape away a bit of that grass on the surface, push it in, lever it backwards and forwards, and then put your tree in, cover it up, and we can push it in with your fists. Some people like to use a mallet just to tap it in. Some people use their boot, they'll push it in. And the test of a well-planted seedling is the tug test. You give it a bit of a pull like that, and there should be resistance. It shouldn't come out of the ground easily. So the seedling there is planted below the ground level, and that means that the soil will be right around the seedling, and it's stopping it all the moisture from evaporating out. The second tool we're going to use is a planting shovel, a planting spade. These have traditionally been used for planting pine, bare-rooted pine seedlings. Very heavy-duty, heavy steel blade. We scrape back a bit of the grass, the dead grass, very similar to the trowel. Push it in, lever it, push it into the ground so that the top of the potting mix is below the soil. Tap it in, and the tug test again. That's really resisting coming out, so that's the test to see if it's planted properly. Next tool we're going to use is called a Hamilton planter. It's got a cutting blade here that is the same shape as the Hyco seedling. You can get these in different shapes for different trays. You can get them for tubes, for thumb pots, or for big pots. This is quite good in well-prepared ground, but it's also good in ground that's a little bit harder. So again, we just scrape away the grass a little bit at the surface, and we push it in, give it a little bit of a twist, and then you'll see that the hole there is the right size for the seedling. We've got to push out the dirt, get rid of the dirt, so you may need something to clean it out with. Then we take our seedling, in this case a little bottle brush, in there, fill over the top, firm it into place, tug test, and there it is, done. This tool here is called a potty putki. It's designed by Finnish foresters. The beauty of this tool is it allows you to plant without bending over, so it saves your back. Forestry planters can plant thousands of trees a day using these implements. It also allows you to carry with these belts up to 80 seedlings at a time, so you can carry 40 on each hip, so you're not constantly going back to your seedlings. You can see this has got a beak and it's got a depth adjuster here. You can use this to adjust how deep the seedling will go into the ground. We push it in. It has to be well prepared ground like this. It's no good putting it into unprepared ground. Then we open the beak using the lever there. We select the seedling, drop it down the tube. A little twist, and there's the seedling in the ground at the right depth. And then we use this thumb trigger up here, press that thumb trigger, and it closes the beak down the bottom. So it's ready to go again. Now, so I don't have to bend down, I use my boot to push that in. And you can see that's firmly planted in there. So now we're going to look at a range of tree guards we can put around those seedlings we just planted, some different styles of tree guards and why you would use some tree guards instead of other ones. We'll also look at mulch and a number of mulch products that you can use. The reason we use tree guards, particularly here on the northern tablelands, the first reason is it protects the trees, creates a little microclimate, protects the trees from really cold winds or hot winds, and also to a certain amount from frost. So it gives a couple of degrees of frost protection. We also use it if there's rabbits or hares, because it stops the rabbits or hares biting off the base of the tree guard. If you've got kangaroo problems, you can use very tall tree guards to stop the kangaroos biting the seedlings off at the base where they might get killed. In some areas where you've got a lot of dirt or sand grains blown in the wind, they can really damage the seedlings, so the tree guards are good for that. But they do add cost and they do take extra labour to put them in place. When we're doing a large planting, we would plant first and then we would lay out the tree guards next to the seedlings as we go, and somebody would follow the planter along and put the tree guards on as they go. And usually we put the tree guards on before we water, because the tree guards help the water stay in place. So the first tree guard we're going to look at is the milk carton, and you can use recycled 1 or 2 litre milk cartons, or you can buy them in bulk in boxes of 500 where they haven't been printed or they've printed something on there that's gone out of date. Now these are coated with a plastic solution so they don't completely biodegrade. So there are cardboard ones of these that won't last as long. These will last for 12 to 18 months, whereas the cardboard ones will give you about 6 to 9 months. But I think they're much better because they just decay into the ground. They don't end up in the creek putting plastic everywhere. We use 2 bamboo stakes. Again, you buy these in bundles of 1,000. So they're good for large-scale plantings, but some nurseries will sell smaller bundles of them. What we're going to do is we're going to put the tree guard over the plant like that, and the stakes will hold it in place. So the first thing we do is we put the 2 stakes in the ground, and you'll see the width that I'm putting them there is the width of the carton. And I put them in about 30 degrees to vertical, and I push them in to the height of the stakes. And the reason we do that is when we pull those in, they're going to put some tension on the guard and stop it from blowing away. So when you get your guard, it's flat like this. It's very important that it goes in, you open it that way. We open it up, squeeze it up, grab your 2 stakes, guide your seedling into place and push it down. And you can see there that's fairly firm. If we do it the other way, it's not giving as much space for the seedling and it's pressing up against the seedling there. Now if you can, it's good to just drag a little bit of dirt around the outside. That stops the wind getting under the carton and blowing up through the guard. Now with this one we're going to use a weed mat, a mulch mat. And this is recycled clothing. You can get them made out of jute or hessian. This has got pre-cut slots in it for the tree and for the stakes. And this will go around the seedling like that. And the idea is it stops weeds growing in this area, and it also keeps the moisture in the soil around the base of the tree. You can get them in this 300 millimetre size, or you can get them in 600 millimetre, much bigger. But they need to be used after you've had good weed control first. Otherwise your grasses will grow and they'll just push the mulch mat up like that. So then you can still do your same tree guard, milk carton there, stakes at an angle. I'm opening it up that way again. I've got that tension, so it'll hold there. Tuck the seedling in. And there it is. And again, you can still chuck a little bit of dirt around the edge just to seal that base. So this is just a mesh guard. This is not providing any protection from the weather, but it does protect from browsing animals, particularly rabbits and hares, and it lets lots of light in to the seedling as well. You buy this in a roll and you just cut it off the roll to whatever size you want. You have to use 3 stakes for this. You put 2 in first, and then you use the 3rd one to get the tension there. And you can actually weave it in to make it a bit more, a little bit more sturdy. And you can see that that's going to stop anything getting in from the side until it gets established. Okay, now this guard is a core flute guard. It's a plastic corrugated guard. They're more expensive than the milk cartons. They come in a range of sizes from milk carton size up to very big ones. These ones are about $1.30 compared to about 50 cents for a milk carton. They pack flat, so you can buy them in large quantities, and they're triangular when you fold them out like that. The corrugation in there actually provides an air layer that gives a bit of insulation. So these are really good for frosty situations. So to use one of these, we use wooden or large bamboo stakes, and we tap that in firmly to the height of the guard. And then you see there's slots there. You just thread the guard over and feed the seedling into there, like that. And again, you just seal the base of it with a bit of dirt just to stop the dirt getting up on the inside. Sometimes if it's a really windy spot, like here, these guards will actually spin around on that stake and they'll actually damage the seedling. So in really windy places, we put another stake in, just being careful not to damage the seedling. Put another one in the front of the guard there, and that makes it nice and secure. So we're going to use the same mulch mat we used with the tree guard, with the milk carton. Same thing, just wrap it around the seedling, make sure all those branches come through, spread it out, and there's 3 holes here, so we can put a stake in one of those holes. The beauty about these core flute guards is that you can use them several times. So after 6 to 12 months, I would take this off once the seedling's up here, and then I can reuse them. And I might get 3 or 4 uses out of these core flute guards. These are one of the more modern cardboard guards. They're quite a durable cardboard, but they will biodegrade. So you don't have to go and get them and put them in the rubbish when you finish. You can just leave them and they'll break down in the paddock. They've got all these holes in them. You can get the holes in the core flute guards as well. That works really well if you've got a very hot environment, because the core flutes can sometimes cook the seedlings. Not so much an issue on the northern tablelands, but as things get warmer, we may need to go more to these sort of guards that allow a bit of airflow through. But these are the ones we definitely use out on the slopes and the plains. With these ones, we tend to feed the stake through first. And if you've got a team of people helping you with your planting, that can be somebody's job. They can feed those through. Then we feed that over the seedling, and then we just tap the stake in again. And again, I would use 2 stakes with these just to stop the guard spinning around, particularly as it gets a little bit older and a bit more worn out. And again, just seal the base. So this sort of guard is one that's been used for a very long time. You buy it by the roll. It's a heavy duty plastic. It's like a tube. It's hollow. And you cut it to whatever length you think you want. So I'm going to cut it 2/3 of the length of that stake there. Open it out. Put one stake in first. A little bit rocky just here. A bit of a tap. You can see in the wind, it's a bit of a hard one to handle. I don't like these guards because they're very time consuming, and it's very easy for them to dislodge and blow across the paddock. But some people really prefer these guards. So now we've got a second stake in there, and then we put our final stake in. Now it's really important to get that as tight as you can. If it's loose, the wind will just flap and it'll just beat the seedling and it'll really damage that seedling. So we try and get that in as wide as possible. What some people do with these guards is that they'll just roll the bottom over about 25 millimetres, like that. Put that over the tree. And you can see inside, it actually creates a little lip that will catch condensation and just creates a little bit more of a moist environment. So these guards are quite good if you're planting just a few trees or if you're planting advanced trees. But if you're planting this entire shelter belt here, which might have 500 or 600 trees, that's going to take you a lot of time to put those on. Whereas it's really good for advanced trees in your garden. These ones, even though they're a little bit more expensive than some of the other ones, they break down, so you don't have to worry about getting them again. And they're quite a sturdy guard. The advantage of the core flutes is that they're quick and easy to put on, and they're reusable for a couple of goes, but you've got all that plastic you've got to get rid of. These ones are specifically if you've just got hare or rabbit problems you're worried about, but you don't really have any weather problems. And these would only stay on for a very short period of time. And the good old milk cartons are quick and easy, they're light to carry, they're still pretty much a standard, but we're moving away from the plastic coated ones and more to just the recycled cardboard ones these days. So apart from mulch mats, organic mulches are really good to use, but they are expensive and they add a lot of time to your project. But if you want really good success, and particularly if the climate's changing and we've got hotter and hotter climates, mulch may be something that's really worth investing in to get success. This is a pre-packaged sugarcane mulch. You can use pea straw, lucerne hay, paddock hay, whatever organic sort of material is around. Even your sort of council mulched up bark and trees, a wood chip mulch is quite good. So this product's readily available. It's compressed, so there's a lot more than what it looks like in there, and it breaks down over time and feeds the soil. So for one seedling like that, that's about enough. And I just loosely sprinkle it like that, and there we go. You can also just use rotten hay or pasture hay, or just even lawn grass clippings where it's been mowed. So this is sort of broken down, just slashed grass. Sometimes rotten hay has a lot of mould spores in it, so you need to be very careful to wear breathing protection, just a mask, if you're using really rotten stuff out of a bale.